Hey, welcome back to Vintage on Vintage. Today I want to do a player profile of one of my favorite players of all time and a guy I believe deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. If you've watched my channel, you know Henry Aaron's by far my favorite player, followed closely by Roberto Clemente. But if I had to pick a spot, it would be this guy right here, Steve Garvey. You know, growing up for me in the early 70s through the 80s, he was the Dodgers' best player. And I think deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I know his WAR is not that great, and people say maybe his counting stats should have been better. But I would tell you, I think Garvey has a case to be in the Hall of Fame. So he was a 10-time All-Star. Think about that. 10 times he was an All-Star. He won one MVP award. In addition to winning an MVP award, he was a 4-time Gold Glove. He won the All-Star MVP twice, and he won the NLCS MVP twice. Over the course of his career, he had 2,599 base hits, had 440 doubles, 1,143 runs scored, 1,308 RBIs, and he hit .294. So I know some of those stats people think come up a little short, but when you look at it, his 2,599 hits are 83rd all time. So there's been 20,000 players that have played in the major leagues. About half of them have been pitchers. About the other half have been position players. So if you're in the top 100, you're in the upper 1 percentile. In hits, he's at 83. So he's in the upper 1 percentile of hits all times. His doubles are at 122, and his RBIs are at 110. So he's right on the cusp of being in the upper 1 percentile in 3 major categories. He led the league in hits twice, and he had 6 200-hit seasons, missed his 7th by 8 hits. Those 6 200-hit seasons, they tie him with Stan Musial, George Sisler, Jess Burkett, Sam Rice, Al Simmons, all Hall of Famers. He also had more 200-hit seasons than Tony Gwynn or Kirby Puckett, also in the Hall of Fame. He finished in the top 10 in MVP voting 5 times. He played in 1,207 consecutive games, which is 4th all time. His 8-year peak, he averaged 21 homers, 100 RBIs, and a .306 batting average. This is one of my favorite cards, by the way, here. I remember as a kid getting this. I love this 3D card of Garvey. You know, in the postseason, he was huge. The Dodgers went to 4 World Series. They only won 1, but they went to 4 World Series, and it wasn't Garvey's fault. In the postseason, in 55 games, Steve Garvey hit .338 with 75 hits, 11 home runs, 31 runs driven in, and 32 runs scored. You know, he compares really comparable to a couple new players that just got in. When you look at Gil Hodges, another first baseman, he actually had more hits, more doubles, more runs scored, and more RBIs, and a higher batting average. Gil had more home runs, and Gil was probably a slightly better first baseman defensively. They were both clutch players, pretty comparable players. And then if you think about Tony Oliva, you know, Tony Oliva, Garvey had more hits, more doubles, more runs, more homers, more RBIs than Oliva. Oliva had a slightly better batting average. So I'm not saying that those two don't deserve to be in, but what I am saying is I do believe Steve Garvey should be in the Hall of Fame. I know his WAR is low, but I can just tell you, to me, like, it's what you see. And I saw this guy play, and for 10 years, he was one of the premier ball players in baseball. So anyway, Steve Garvey, my 3rd favorite player of all time. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. Love to hear your opinion on whether you think he belongs in the Hall of Fame or not. Thanks again for watching. Stay safe, keep collecting, and we will talk soon.